The Supreme Court has passed a slew of interim directions calling a ceasefire of sorts in the war that threatens to rip apart the CBI and raises serious questions over the handling of the entire situation by the Modi government. But this story has a different angle as well. The Congress party has claimed the CBI director Alok Verma has been dispatched on leave because he was about to begin a probe into the Rafale defense deal. Congress President Rahul Gandhi took this political fight to the streets today, which resulted in a brief arrest in Delhi. To talk about the politics over the CBI crisis, I'm joined now by the Congress and BJP spokespersons. Aadil Boparai joins us from the Congress party. Narendra Taneja is joining us from the BJP. Welcome to both of you. I'm going to start by asking you, Mr. Boparai, why the Congress believes that what is happening within the CBI, and yes, I agree, it is a serious issue. Why do you believe it is an issue which will resonate with the mass or with potential voters ahead of the elections coming up?
Well, Tamanna, I have a preliminary point to make, which is that today in this country, institutions are imploding. And the reason why I say this is, you have ED officers accusing the Revenue Secretary of bribery. You have 4 senior Supreme Court judges coming out in the media and saying that democracy is in peril and that there's been executive interference in judicial administration. The Election Commission has become a rubber stamp. And less said the better about the CBI, which seems to be in a dire situation today because of the mismanagement and an attempt to politicize this institution. Now, coming to your particular question here, the fact is that CBI as an institution inspired immense respect and faith in the country. This was the premier anti-corruption agency in this country where people used to really indeed have faith in, and this used to be the last resort when it used to come to sensitive matters. Today you have a situation where the Modi government has subverted this institution. It foisted an officer like Rakesh Asthana, despite serious allegations and objections of corruption, so that they could use this instrument or this agency to settle political scores. Now, coming to the Rafale issue, there were 3 senior individuals, Prashant Bhushan, Yashwant Sinha and Arun Shourie, none of them from the Congress party,
you
who filed a detailed complaint with the CBI director.
We'll come to all of these issues one by one, but since you said you're going to answer my specific question, it is an important issue. Is it a mass issue? Is it a mass issue where the Congress president is taking this kind of, he's taking claim to this issue of sorts? So can you answer that question? Do you believe CBI or Rafale, for that matter, is a mass issue?
Well, Tamanna, what are we proud of? I'll answer that. What are we proud of in this country? We're proud about democracy. We're proud about the rule of law. We're proud about our vibrant institution. Today, every institution in this country stands subverted. The premier anti-corruption agency is in a mess. The director is accusing his deputy, the deputy is accusing the director, and the CBI comes under the DOPT. And this is all being done so that the Rafale deal is not investigated, so that Nirav Modi and Mr. Modi's association can be kept in the dark, so that Mehul Choksi and the BJP association can be kept in the dark. This government has become a fountainhead of corruption.
Okay,
and Mr. Modi is right there at the top.
We will examine those claims in just a bit.
What happened to that hoax of na khaunga, na khane dunga?
Okay, now I was hoping to have an analytical discussion over what the politics behind this is. I'll attempt again, but in a bit. But let Mr. Taneja come in on the claims that are being made. There is little doubt that it's looking bad, Mr. Taneja. Even if you, sideline the claims that this has anything to do with Rafale, the CBI situation has been mishandled. Every expert I have spoken to in the last 72 hours, non-partisan, senior, former CBI officials are saying that this is a mess that could have clearly been avoided.
You see, the first thing first, to answer to my colleague from the Congress party, I think he's probably ignorant of the history of this country. The only time all institutions, even the constitutions, were subverted was in 1975 in the month of June. And that was when the Congress party imposed the emergency. Congress party, which is known for its fascist ideology between 1975 and 1977, they did it. If he is ignorant of the history, let your viewers decide. That's the answer to all the kind of rhetoric and all the hot air, that he put on on your show. Now, let's come to the facts, because Congress is fiction, 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 and nothing at theatrics, and let's talk about facts now. The fact is, what is happening in the CBI, that's precisely the reason that you referred to, that the government started the action. And the government said, look, the CBI reputation, the constitutional integrity is sacrosanct. And that was precisely the reason the government moved. And then the matter went to the Supreme Court. Some people took it to the Supreme Court. And we welcome the order of the Supreme Court, because this is precisely what we want. An inquiry in a time-bound manner, and now it's good that a retired Supreme Court judge is going to be part of the whole thing, is going to oversee. Very good. That's precisely what we want. And the interim director is interim director. He can't take, by very definition, interim director can't take policy decision. Now let me complete. Now the final point I want to say is, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was on the street today linking, Mr. Verma, CBI with Rafale. What kind of fiction writing is that? He deserves a literary award from Timbuktu, because that's the kind of fiction only that kind of country can give an award to. I mean, if you think the people of India are fool, they can't understand. Mr. Rahul Gandhi might be what he is, but people of India are very smart. They can see through the game. Okay. What is the link? There is absolutely no link, but they want to build it as a political narrative. The question is that Mr. Rahul Gandhi might live in La La Land, but people live in the Republic of India, they can see the truth.
One sec. I'll give Aadil an opportunity to revert to that. But Mr. Taneja, you claim that this is exactly what the government wants. The government lawyer stood up in court today and said that 10 days is not enough. The court first said 10 days. He said it's not enough. There are thousands of pages we have to go through. Let it take its time. They also said that we do not want the supervision of a former retired Supreme Court judge. Let the CVC do it. Then the court said, okay, because, Diwali break, etc., they stretched it to 12 days, to 2 weeks. So that claim that you're making, Mr. Taneja, that has no basis in fact. You are claiming that this is what the government wanted. That has no basis in fact, looking at what the lawyers representing you have argued in court today.
Listen.
I will have to call out if there is any misappropriation of facts, sir.
You see, Tamanna, no, you can do whatever. Tamanna,
do whatever means you are saying something which is not true. So I will have to call you out on that.
You are. Well, that's your definition. That's your definition. You are not Tamanna God. If you say it's not true, it will become untrue. That's not how it functions. Luckily, there is God and there is Constitution.
Mr. Taneja, your lawyer
now
said,
the point here is, you are only quoting what our...
We do it in 10 days. You're saying this is what we wanted. Isn't there a dichotomy between those two sentences?
If you have decided you won't let me speak, Tamanna, if you have decided you won't let me speak, I sit quietly here. You let here Congress. I'll sit here quietly. You decided you won't let me speak. It's fine. It's okay. I'll sit here quietly.
I'm putting two statements side by side. You tell me what you make of them.
But you have to allow me to speak.
Sure, go ahead.
You have to allow me to... I said you are only quoting what the government lawyer said.
Yes.
What the Congress lawyer said. You are not talking about what the others lawyer said. In a courtroom, arguments are made. And after that you make your arguments, or others make their own arguments. These are arguments. But as I said, the final order of the Supreme Court, we welcome it.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
The CVC is a constitutional body. It's an autonomous body. It's not the department of the government, for your information, Tamanna. It's a constitutional organization. You see, now whatever the CVC wanted more time and all that, that was put in front of the Supreme Court. And after that, whatever the order from the Supreme Court is welcome. Okay. But what is the connection between, except Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who belongs to La La Land, what is the connection between Rafale, Mr. Verma and CBI? If they have an evidence, why don't they share it with the people? What kind of, what conversation had happened between Mr. Verma and Mr. Rahul Gandhi?
Okay, one sec. Let me
I'll respond to all your allegations, Mr. Taneja.
Let me specify that question. On what basis is the Congress president claiming that the CBI director, Alok Verma, was about to launch a preliminary investigation into Rafale? On what basis is that claim being made, Aadil Boparai?
Tamanna, I'll respond to that question, but again, I have a preliminary point here. This order of the Supreme Court is a setback for the BJP. The Supreme Court only directs monitoring of a probe when it has no faith in an inquiry process, and that's the reason why it's directed that Justice Patnaik will look over the probe. Number one. Number two, all the transfers which have been done in the past 48 hours, the Supreme Court has directed that please give us details of all those transfers in a sealed envelope. Number three, the Supreme Court has said that he cannot take any policy decision and must stick to routine work. Number four, the Supreme Court says that this is an exceptional situation. I have a copy of the order. Now, coming to your specific question, on the 4th of October, 4 people go and file a detailed complaint with the CBI director. Now, let's take the government's argument. Complaints against Alok Verma were with them and pending with the CVC since
Boparai,
August 23rd
you have to
this
come.
year.
This
government was sleeping.
I know the sequence of events. You will have to allow me to navigate this discussion to touch upon every point so that it makes sense to my viewers.
BJP's claim.
I am asking you, on what basis are you claiming that he was going to launch an investigation?
Your question.
Because just because there's a complaint in front of him on his desk doesn't mean he's going to launch an investigation. What is giving you the confidence to make that claim again and again?
I'll answer that.
Yes.
On the 4th of October, a detailed complaint is filed with the CBI director.
Yes.
As per the manual, the CBI has to take a call one way or the other whether to register a PE or not to register a PE within 30 days. Now the government, in a midnight coup at 2:30 at night, sanitizes CGO complex, an area of 5 kilometers of radius, appoints the interim director bypassing the statutory committee, seals the 10th and the 11th floor, and transfers 11 officers who were working under Mr. Alok Verma. Please see the sequence of events. Please see the circumstances. It is as clear as daylight. The government is scared. They were apprehending that he may launch an PE the very next day. That is why the midnight swoop. This is the snooping and the propaganda model of Mr. Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. They send IB officers to snoop on the CBI director. Have you ever heard in any country of the world where the CIA officials are snooping on the FBI? This is that kind of an analogy.
Okay.
Jokers.
The IB is snooping on the CBI director.
Now I want to ask a question to Mr.
This is an unprecedented situation.
I want to ask a question to Mr. Taneja, and the way we will do this, because instead
ridiculous.
of...
You are conducting a serious show with these kind of arguments.
Okay,
is it a serious show?
One sec. Mr.
Are
Taneja,
you serious?
Please. Okay, can
on
I request
conjectures,
Mr.
the whole
Taneja,
thing?
take my questions, don't get personal, sir. Take my questions, sir. Please don't get personal. Let me come to specific questions to you. Okay,
I'm not getting personal.
No, you're saying, is this a joke? Is this not?
Why are you saying I'm getting personal?
If you don't think the show is serious, then why would you waste your time?
You have no answers.
1 minute.
Well, if you're cracking jokes, the people who crack jokes are called jokers.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute, Mr. Taneja. Okay.
People who crack jokes are jokers. What's wrong with it?
Listen to my question. If for a minute we say that, okay,
is this your defense to the CBI mess?
1 minute, Mr. Boparai. If we say that there is no proof, there is no basis to Rahul Gandhi's claim that this has anything to do with a Rafale investigation, for a minute I give it to you, there is no claim. There is no connection. But the CBI director, in a submission in court, has said the following. Listen to my question, please. There are bound to be occasions when certain investigations into high functionaries do not take the direction that may be desirable to the government. He has said in his petition in front of the Supreme Court, the details of many of the cases which have led to the present circumstances are extremely sensitive and cannot with full responsibility be divulged in the present pleadings, and then offers to divulge them. The CBI director is going to court and saying that what I was working on was not something the government was happy with, and this is why I have been sent on leave. So forget about what Rahul Gandhi is saying. That puts the government in a very poor light.
Now, allow me, your question is mile long.
Gone to court and asked for the autonomy of his job.
Your question is 10 miles long. Allow me answer. 10-mile long question, allow me 1 mile at least, It's very simple. He might be referring to the National Herald, where the first family of the Congress party has looted that money. He might be referring to what evidence you have, that he was not referring to...
National Herald is not being investigated by the CBI.
Or the National Herald case.
It is not being investigated by the CBI.
No, what evidence you have?
No, he may be.
Who knows what he was referring to? He might be referring to... Congress is known for scandals. Now, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish.
National Herald is not with the CBI.
The point is, Tamanna, for your information, I'm not a lawyer. Congress spokesperson is a lawyer. Now, I never intervene. This gentleman, why is he getting rattled? Why is he getting rattled?
No need to
now
intervene.
The question is very clear.
Point, yeah.
The law is very clear on that. CBI
facts.
investigates. Tamanna, CBI investigates. Only, you know, your leader does know about facts, forget about who you are. Now the point is only two things. CBI investigates only whether first scenario is where CBI is asked by the government. Second is the court. In this case, neither the government nor the court has asked for inquiry into it. Now the question is, CBI receive hundreds of such applications and letter and these kind of things every day. So there might be something against Mr. Rahul Gandhi or the Congress that he wanted to investigate. What is the evidence that it was about Rafale? This is what is saying. They are seeing ghosts everywhere. Because Congress party, the entire family, we all know that.
That's not what I'm asking you. Please stick to my question. I will not allow you to answer something else. When I'm asking A, you cannot start talking about D. I'm saying, okay, I agree with you. It is not about Rafale. I agree
Why
with you.
can't I do that? If your question is not relevant,
why is
if
it
your
not
question,
relevant?
Tamanna, is not relevant, I'm not sitting for KG exam here.
This is not fair. CBI director has gone to court.
It's for me to decide.
CBI director has gone to court and said that my autonomy is being threatened. I am working on sensitive cases which have led to this situation. I work on cases that the government may not like. Why would the government not like a National Herald investigation? What are these cases he could be referring to?
Allow me. No, but then he should have explained. Majority of cases which are handled directly by the CBI director are sensitive cases. There are 6,000 employees in CBI. There are 2,000 officers. The director only handles the cases which are absolutely, the top cases. So he must be referring to some cases. Now the question is, what is the evidence you have that he is referring to Rafale? If you have any evidence, if Mr. Rahul Gandhi had met Mr. Verma, they have given meetings secretly, let them come out with the fact.
No, there
Why
is no
don't they come out with it?
Where
did they meet? Which hotel? The Lodi?
I give you that point that there is no
which
evidence.
Is the favorite?
Mr. Taneja, I give you that point that there is no evidence. There is no evidence he's talking about Rafale.
Oh, you are the evidence, Tamanna. Are you the evidence? Are you the evidence?
I'm agreeing with you, but you are still not able to answer my question.
Tamanna, can I come in,
I'm agreeing with you, still not answering my question. Only I have a different question to you,
What
Aadil
question?
Boparai, which I've asked thrice.
No.
I know that it is not like you are not understanding my question.
I have answered your question. You don't want to listen, is a different matter.
I'm not going to waste more time on it.
You are.
Okay,
I have answered your question.
No, you haven't, sir.
I am not giving the. If you want the reply.
Aadil Boparai, my question to you now.
Why do you call BJP, Tamanna? I'm leaving. You are not interested. You don't give fair chance. I don't want to come to your shows. Please don't call me again.
I asked you the question thrice. You're refusing to answer. My question to Aadil Boparai now is that the leader of opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, when Alok Verma was being appointed, and 3 people have to appoint him, the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice of India, and the leader of opposition. It is widely reported that the leader of opposition was not agreeable to appointing Alok Verma. There's a dissent note where he says that I don't want Alok Verma to be the CBI director because of a lack of experience. He hasn't worked within the organization before. Why the sudden then love and support for Alok Verma?
Well, Tamanna, I'll answer your question straight away. We don't skirt around the questions and beat about the bush like the BJP. Number one, it is not about Alok Verma or about Rakesh Asthana. It is about the institution of the CBI, the premier anti-corruption watchdog of this country. Number one. Number two, Alok Verma, who was appointed by this government, has said on a sworn affidavit before the Supreme Court that he was handling sensitive investigations, and the government has removed him because they are perhaps scared about the direction of these investigations. Now, the Indian Express report has clarified that there were 7 files which were pending before the CBI director. Now, which are these cases? Number one, the Rafale complaint. Number two, the private secretary to the Prime Minister of India, Khulbe. His case is also pending. Number 3, Rakesh Asthana in the Sterlite Biotech case. Number 4, the medical council scam. Why is it that the BJP in a midnight coup, and this is circumstantial evidence, the BJP keeps on reiterating what is evidence, where do you have this evidence? This is circumstantial evidence. You had a complaint against Verma pending since August. You do nothing on that.
The interesting thing about
coup at 2:30 at night, you seal the premises. Isn't this unprecedented?
1 minute, Mr. Boparai. 1 minute. The beautiful thing about creating a political narrative is that
put this to logic.
No, it need not be rooted in fact. So until we know for sure whether there was going to be an investigation launched, until Alok Verma says this in court openly, you can continue to say this, and there is nothing to stop you from saying that, but it will not be rooted in fact until Alok Verma himself says that he was about to launch an investigation. So let that
Tamanna,
be.
can I just make a 30-second interjection? 30-second interjection. 30-second interjection. 30-second interjection.
Okay.
I'll respond to that. Who is Rakesh Asthana? Let's examine the antecedents of Rakesh Asthana. Rakesh Asthana is that IPS officer from Gujarat who was in charge of the SIT in the Godra case. He is somebody who has links with the Sandesras. Sandesras have fled this country. This is all matter of record with 5,000 crore rupees of Indian taxpayers' money.
Mr. Boparai,
this is a fact.
No, these are facts.
This is a fact.
But we will talk
whether you
about
go
the
into
facts.
it or you don't go into it, but this is a fact.
No, these are facts.
He's being investigated in that Sterlite case. He's the same individual who allowed Vijay Mallya to flee.
Facts which are not related to what I'm asking is not going to.
But you have to examine. You have to examine the facts in totality.
Yes, but Rakesh Asthana is pushed by,
Asthana is the same officer
who
allowed Mallya to flee.
Modi government wanted Verma as well. The complaint on Rafale has been filed by 3 people who are not from the Congress. Listen to my question, Mr. Boparai. The complaint has been filed by 3 people who are not with the Congress, and they are the ones who have filed the complaint on the Rafale deal.
Fair enough.
Your leader of opposition, has said he never wanted Alok Verma. Aren't you now piggybacking on this at the last minute with what is at best a tenuous link?
I'll tell you. I'll answer to this. Let's take Rakesh Asthana. Who foisted Rakesh Asthana onto the CBI? Now, 1 year back, Alok Verma had said in a secret note to the CVC and the Prime Minister's office, which is in public domain and again is a matter of record, that he's being investigated by the CBI. Please do not promote him to the rank of a special director. Despite that, the government turned down this objection, foisted him onto the CBI special director. Alok Verma has been writing about him for the past 1 year. He's written a complaint against Alok Verma in August. Why is it at 2:30 at night? Please ask yourself this question. Why at 2:30 at night, after the Rafale complaint is lodged, does this government in a midnight coup seal the 10th and the 11th floor of the CBI building and arbitrarily an ACC is called at 12:30 at night, at midnight, and removes him from his position? And the following day, the IB is snooping on him.
No,
the Intelligence Bureau is called
maybe
in.
all of these are valid points.
Unit officers of the IB are called in and are snooping on him.
One minute. Mr. Boparai, 1 minute. It's only you and me now, so there's nothing to even scream about. Okay, let me just ask you though. Let me come back to my first question, which you never answered. You started with your own preliminary statements and never came to it. Is this really a mass issue which you think will snowball enough before 2019? Because it doesn't seem to be. Rafale is something that the Congress has been pushing. It hasn't reached any point of traction where enough people would care about it, A, or B, where you've been able to prove in a strong enough way that there has been some corruption. But you're at it. Okay, the same seems to be the case with the CBI.
I'll answer that. I'll answer that.
Okay.
You're a proud citizen of this country. Is corruption an issue for you? Is corruption an issue for Tamanna? I think it is an issue for you. Today in this country, the anti-premier corruption agency is being accused of corruption. It's in a mess. The director is accusing his deputy. Who is this deputy? He allowed Vijay Mallya to flee with 9,000 crore rupees of public money.
Okay.
This government is interdicting a Rafale probe. It interdicted a Sterlite probe in a 5,000 crore rupees scam of the Sandesras. It allowed Mehul Choksi to flee. It allowed Nirav Modi to flee.
Okay.
Isn't this an issue which matters to this country?
Okay.
70,000 crore rupees of public money has been looted by Mr. Modi's associates, and the CBI has allowed them to flee.
We'll see. We'll have to also remember that what happened with the 2G scams and all of that which took place before the last elections, it actually came to a head when the Supreme Court intervened.
2G is no scam.
Was cancelled.
2G is no scam. There is a judgment, Tamanna.
True. I'm talking about the political narrative.
There is a judgment by a court of law. 2G is no scam.
Has it reached that point of traction for either Rafale or the CBI?
BJP
as far as the Congress is concerned, remains to be seen. I'll end it there. Thank you so much, Aadil Boparai, for speaking with us.